Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of A Year in the Garden, a week at a time. We are 4 weeks before last frost date. So I wasn't going to do this today, and then the sun came out. I was going to work in the house. So I decided I'm going to get some yard work done this morning. It's a beautiful morning, and I'm going to see if I can get a couple things planted that are cold tolerant and try to figure out what I'm going to do with all of this. So I've got a lot of stuff from my winter sowing that's ready to be planted, and a lot of my herbs can go in the ground because they're fairly cold tolerant. So 4 weeks before last frost date, normally this time of year I am planting cucumbers, zucchini, squash, melons, sunflowers, and a couple other kind of flowers if you want, like bachelor buttons, although I did mine early this year, but you can do bachelor buttons. But I'm not going to do that this year because it's been so cold at night. We've had beautiful spring weather during the day, and then it gets really cold at night. The other day, this happened. I was on my lunch hour. I usually take a walk in the park. And as I was driving to the park, this happened. So just blizzarding outside. The snow was just big, huge, fat, juicy flakes coming down. And I had the dogs with me because I bring them to work with me every once in a while and take them to the park at lunchtime. And so this is what I had to walk in. Well, they were loving it, especially Ellie. She loves the snow. Ellie is my little brown dog. It was just a freak snowstorm, and there were all these accidents, and because I mean there was a good that much snow on the ground. So anyway, after that night, it got down to 25 degrees here at my house, which is really cold for this time of year. A friend of mine said it was 20 degrees in his greenhouse. It wasn't that cold at my house. But, so it was really cold. I ended up having to put all my winter sowing in the greenhouse. I ended up pulling in almost everything. And a lot of what I left in the greenhouse is showing signs of frost damage. So I will show that to you. So I missed a week in there. That's the first week I missed in this series, was last week. I had a retreat that I had to attend. This is my, hold on a second. There we go. This, I did this thing called Faith Alive. It's supposed to be a 2-year faith journey type thing. And I think the sun's in your eyes. And we ended up not doing anything for a whole year, so it took us 3 years to complete this journey. And they finally said we're going to do it on Zoom. That's what I did last weekend. By the time I got done, I just needed to get stuff done. I didn't need to be filming a whole bunch of stuff, so I didn't get that. And then yesterday, I got my second COVID vaccination earlier in the week, and I just wanted to kind of take it easy. So, but I'm all immunized, so I'm happy about that. So that is why I missed a week. So everything's looking pretty healthy here. Parsley does pretty well in a frost. You can see it made it through very well. Dill, you know, this dill, I planted it way too early. It's looking fine. I'm thinking it can tolerate fairly cold temperatures, so that's going in the ground. Cilantro, see the purple leaves? So you can see the cilantro. These leaves have frost damage on them, which surprises me since cilantro is a cold-loving plant. Now my hands are going to smell like cilantro. Chives, did very well. Those are ready to get planted out in the garden. Over here I have cabbage and broccoli. I don't know what I was thinking when I planted all these plants. But I've got tons of broccoli, tons of cabbage. I haven't quite decided where they're going, but whatever I don't use I can give away, or I can sell, because I'm going to be having a plant sale this year. So that's all looking really good. A little bit of damage here. You can see some of these leaves because it was cold in that greenhouse. So, but they did okay. Now, the weather this week, these are our lows for the week. Not too bad. At least no 25 is on there. So all of this stuff, all of this can go out in the garden. Peas, they did very well even with the cold temperatures, so they're ready to go out in the garden. I'm gonna plant those up. Usually as soon as they start doing this, sending out their little runners, that's when I put them in the ground. So I'm gonna put those in the ground today. My marigolds I brought inside the house. You can see this is from cold. Now, they did not experience at 25 degrees, but they did have a couple cold nights in the greenhouse. I ended up bringing them in the house after that. You can see I'm just starting to get flowers. I planted all my flowers early so I would have flowers early, and so far it's worked out. But these, little bit of frost damage on those, not too bad. My onions are looking pathetic. I just trimmed them all because there's a lot of this on here, and I gave them a really good feed, a really good fertilizer, so hopefully they will recover. If these don't work, this is going to be my last year growing onions, so we'll see how they work. These are going in the ground today as well. So while I go and figure out what I'm going to put in the ground and where I'm going to put it, I kind of know most of it. I didn't do a garden plan this year, but it's fine, because even when I do a garden plan, it doesn't always end up the way I plan it. It's kind of a general idea, but it doesn't always end up the way I planned it. So I'm going to get some of this stuff in the ground, and then I will give you a quick glance at it afterwards. One other thing I wanted to say. It's the same day I just changed my shirt because I realized I had a white shirt on. We are in the middle of a drought here in southeastern Wisconsin. So we have not had a decent rainstorm. It's been a couple weeks. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. It was when fortunately I had plugged in my rain barrels, and so I ended up with 2 full rain barrels, and that gives me enough water to water everything now. But I am watering things almost every day. That little bit of snow, the snowstorm you saw in the video was up by my work, which is 45 minutes away. We did not get that snow here. So a friend of mine said that he was able to fill his rain barrels with that snowfall. I don't think I got that much snow here. So it's been a long time. We're all under fire hazard warnings, and it's going to be a long year. If I have to water between now and the end of, because normally we get a lot of rain in the spring, and then July we don't get any rain. End of June, all of July, we usually don't get any rain. So I'm thinking it's going to be a really long year if I have to water all the time. We'll see what happens. Let me show you what I have planted so far. Walking in my raised beds. So in this bed, I put all my onions. I have 6 different varieties of onions in here, and I put the cover on here just so they would be left alone while they settle into their new home, and the birds won't mess with them, the squirrels and the chipmunks won't mess with them. So I have this cover on here, but it'll have to come off as soon as they start touching the hardware cloth. Then I will have this come off. So this is my bed that's gonna have my onions. This is a 3 by 6 foot bed. And then over here I put a parsley plant, extra parsley plant in there. And these parsleys survive the winter, which they usually don't. So I didn't have to plant those. Over here I had chives and a parsley again that survived the winter, but then I added chives, curly parsley, chives, flat leaf parsley, and dill. I put in the 3 dill plants there. And then in my herb bed I added chives in the corner, cilantro, 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 flat leaf parsley, and these were here, parsleys. They survived that 25-degree weather. And then a curly leaf parsley here. This is oregano, that's perennial. And then down on the end, this is thyme. We've got a couple different varieties here, and then a creeping thyme over there. And those tend to be perennials. The last thing I got planted today is peas. So along this row, I've got snow pea to here, and then sugar snap pea to here. So this panel is 16 feet long. That means there's 8 feet of peas here. In the other 8 feet of this panel is going to go cucumbers, and those I hopefully will be starting next week. Once the sugar snap peas are done, then I will plant a second planting of cucumbers. Or once the peas are done, the snow and the sugar snap, then I'll plant a second planting of cucumbers. So that's what's going to be on this panel. So that is going to be it for this episode. It feels good to get some things in the ground and get them planting. I have all my tomatoes and peppers downstairs in the basement under grow lights, and hopefully, well, I'll be able to bring them out of the basement on Monday and then keep them out until Wednesday night because the temperatures will be warm enough. On Tuesday we're supposed to be getting in the mid-70s, so that'll be good. So they'll get lots of sunshine Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Wednesday there's supposed to be storms moving through. I don't believe it, but that's what they say. And we'll see what happens. So the nights are supposed to be above 50. They can stay outside. I always put them in the greenhouse overnight, and they'll be just fine. So that's what's going to happen this week. All right, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you like what you saw here, don't forget to click on that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And until next week, happy gardening, everybody. Bye-bye.